Welcome to the Fulhamish quick take after Fulham's 3-1 defeat to Aston Villa, our first defeat of the season at Craven Cottage. Joined by Yaz, hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Could be better, could be worse. Not an ideal result, was it?
No, it's pretty bleak. I don't think I want to be thinking about that again. I said to you though, it is the sort of game where I'm going to close my eyes, forget about it, and just move on. It was a pretty mental game, so I think I can forget.
Yeah, there's a lot of instant in this game. We are at, by the way, Craft Beer Co., which is located at Hammersmith Broadway. Perfect place for a pre or post-match tipple with their exceptional range of beers. I'm on the Tomorrow beer. Yaz, what have you got here?
I have the crafty apple, gone for a cider, very nice.
See, it's not just beers here. It could be called the Craft Cider Company. So yeah, if you're coming to a match, maybe you're an away fan and you're coming up to Craven Cottage soon, head to Craft Beer Co. Beautiful place, pre or post match. Yeah, let's get into it. It was such a perfect start, wasn't it? It feels like a long time since Raul Jimenez scored maybe one of the most Route 1 Fulham goals I've ever seen. A long old punt from Bert Leno, and Raul just never gave up. It was all just so simple.
Yeah, lovely to see. I had such a good feeling after that as well. I said to my dad going into the game, I've got a good feeling about this. First goal proved it to me, and obviously just slid away. But no, it was lovely. I mean, Leno assist, classic. I mean, something you might see in the Championship, but no, absolutely loved it. Great finish from Jimenez, kept cool and collected, and yeah, it was lovely to go up so early, but all fell away.
Yeah, it did all fall apart pretty quickly, actually. It was the goal from, I think it was given to Morgan Rogers, but if it didn't, we haven't watched any highlights back. We're doing this pretty soon after the full-time whistle. If it didn't take two, then it definitely took one massive deflection, and it was a bit of a gut puncher because we were kind of in control.
Yeah, I think we were. If there was any point of the game that I would say we were in control, it was after that first goal. I was feeling good, and it was a bit of a sucker punch. It really ruined the flow of the game. Sort of unlucky, but also you could just put it down to it's just messy, and is that really a mistake you want to be seeing going forward? No, and it's probably not a mistake you should be seing anyway. Yeah, it was just frustrating, but still at 1-1, I felt like I could see the game going our way at that point. It all changed.
Yeah, I think that goal for me, like, of course it's a deflection and that is unlucky, but I feel like Rodgers and Watkins, time after time, were getting that little bit of space in front of the box to cause carnage. And of course that is extremely unlucky for it to ricochet quite as viciously as it did. Leno completely wrong-footed, but there was quite a few moments, particularly in that first half, where we got away with one because of the amount of space we gave Villa in front of the box. Look, they are a dangerous team. There's a reason they're in the Champions League, and there's a reason they're still, if I'm not mistaken, in the top four places. Haven't checked the league table, Villa fans, sorry.
Oh, I see, in the Premier League?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have to remind myself that we were playing Villa. I think when obviously we didn't have the red card, because obviously it all got a bit mental, but when we were actually playing a solid game of football, I felt like we were giving it to them. But I thought Rodgers surprised me by how much he threatened, and Robinson really struggled to deal with him. I thought he got through into that penalty area far too easily. There was also so much giving the ball away, which you can put down to maybe Villa's players being in a good position, but also it's Bassi, Iwobi did it, Robinson did it a few times, of just not pulling off that pass, not being calm, and it was quite a messy first half, actually. It was quite a weird one.
Yeah, I agree that it was just, I think both teams were kind of guilty of it as well, of making it a bit of a messy first half. I don't think it was Villa's best half of the season from the limited amount I've watched of Villa. Let's come on to the penalty. I mean, first and foremost, it's definitely a penalty.
Yes. Sorry, yes, it is a penalty. It's just so frustrating to then see. I mean, you said that Pereira's miss didn't seem to be any less assured than Jimenez's had been at Forest, which I think is right. Although I think Jimenez's penalty surprised me more from his two little stuttered run-ups, and it was Pereira who I felt slightly more confident of until he actually struck the ball, and it just sort of dwindled towards Martinez. There's no confidence and there's no drive it was just a poor penalty.
It looked like the kind of penalty you take once you've committed the keeper the other way. Like once, as if Martinez had dived to his right, but he hadn't dived to his right. He kind of just stayed still, maybe called Pereira's bluff a little bit. I do wonder if there is an element here. If you're Andreas Pereira, you don't take too many penalties, although you have been assigned the designated penalty taker position this year for Fulham. I just wonder if Martinez got in his head a little bit. I wonder if that's, I don't know, a different keeper in the league. I wonder if he just buries that. But I wonder if you're up against Martinez, he's one of, if not the best goalkeeper in the world, and he just was like, gulp.
Yeah, I mean, also you say that he's the designated penalty taker, but that's up for dispute if you ask Jimenez. And I think, to be honest, Pereira's confirmed that argument Jimenez's way. I don't think you can really... Pereira really has a leg to stand on anymore. He can't take free kicks and he can't take penalties. But sorry, that's really harsh. But yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing too many heated arguments like Forest again.
Well, it was interesting that Jimenez was near Pereira, kind of just those moments after the penalty had been awarded. I was like, we're not going to argue about this again. Surely Silva's put this one to bed. And maybe it was actually Jimenez saying, good luck, you've got this kind of thing. It could have been anything from where we were miles and miles away. But yeah, it was never convincing. I always feel nervous with the stuttered run-ups. He didn't do something stupid like try to Panenka it or whatever. It's not Ademola Lookman kind of levels of bad penalty. But, I mean... it's just going to grate and antagonise an argument that already been bubbling about Andreas Pereira. I don't think it was his best game today, although, to be honest, I think all three midfielders, Pereira, Berger and Smith-Rowe, had bad days. We missed Lukic, and I can't believe I'm saying this considering where we were with Lukic about 8 months ago, but oh my God, how quickly can we fix a shoulder?
Please tomorrow. No, I didn't expect to. If you'd asked me, a year ago, I would never have expected to miss Lukic as much as I did today. ESR was anonymous. He did absolute nothing. Berger felt like he didn't really know what his role was, and that really showed. Although as much as, Pereira missed the penalty, he wasn't a star of the show. I don't think it really warranted the reaction of the fans of his substitution. I thought that was really poor to see people stood up and jumping about and saying, oh, thank God Pereira's off. I mean, that's a little bit over the top. I don't think any self-respecting person should be doing that.
I also agree in the sense of, I think you can think Pereira's not good. I think you can have the opinion that Pereira shouldn't be in this team. I also agree, though. I don't think you should ever be genuinely cheering a Fulham player going off the pitch personally, unless they've done something horrendous or disgraceful. But I guess kind of Chris Martin levels back in the day maybe is that borderline argument. But yeah, for me, I don't really like to see that. It wasn't his best game today. That argument is going to go on forever because Pereira's stats are so good, but the eye test regularly he frustrates, and then I think you're pouring fuel on the fire when you miss a penalty like that as well, which is harsh because ultimately players do miss penalties.
Yeah, I think that's quite a natural thing to happen. You see that across the Premier League. So I don't think that's really a reason to warrant that sort of reaction. Like, people miss penalties. But what frustrates me with Pereira is how much he just overplays the ball. He stays on the ball slightly too long to make himself... It's almost like he's looking for this charm, this bit of skill that he's going to show everyone that he's amazing. It never quite pulls it off. He stays on it for slightly too long. And I think we saw that in what point was it? I think it was in the second half.
What was this, the one where he was cutting in from the left, and he had a moment where he probably just should have let rip. But he was caught in two minds, and in the end he just took one more touch, got tackled, and I think Villa created a fairly good break from it. For me, as you say, penalty aside, that happens, but it's those moments there which I totally understand frustrates fans.
Yeah, I do understand it is frustrating. I don't think it's enough to warrant him not being in the starting 11 though.
No.
No, so it is frustrating, but like you said, his numbers are good enough to keep him there.
And also, I'm not 100% sure with Lukic out. I think there was an argument when Lukic was there. I think there was an argument of like, okay, could we not have Pereira? But I think without Lukic, I mean, what do you do? Like Berger and Kearney? Would you feel massively confident with that? Let's come on to the second half. I mean, obviously Villa went 2-1 in front. I felt like Fulham didn't really get started in the second half. I mean, hard to tell from the Hammersmith end exactly what happened, but ultimately they kept putting those corners into the front post, didn't they? The near post. And it's poor. Like, there's no way that we'll look back at that and go like, oh, that's an unavoidable goal. That, you know, it's a set piece. We knew exactly what they were trying to do all game, and eventually one paid off for them.
Well, about 5 minutes before you had 4 corners on a trot, which was exactly the same thing. Was it Tielemans who was taking all those? Did he take the goal one again? I
Don't know.
If I can assume that it's Tielemans, then you've literally seen it 5 times before. Like, I mean, there is also an element of if it's happening that many times, any human is going to slip. But these are also Premier League players. Like, we shouldn't be seeing them slipping like that. It was frustrating. But yeah, it was completely avoidable, really.
The biggest debate, by far, is the Joachim Andersen red card. Because it's 2-1 down. That's not a great place to be against a team as good as Villa. Look, I think anyone watching this probably knows that me and you are probably going to think that's not a red card because we're biased and we're Fulham fans. I'm sure there'll be Villa fans watching this who are going, of course it's a red card. He put his arm over him. I just honestly, you're in that position of the pitch where it's either not a foul or it's a red card. There's not really an in-between there because of the position that Ollie Watkins was in. I think he slightly puts his arm on Ollie Watkins, but come on. It's a shoulder barge. I think he just outmuscled him. Do you agree? Am I being rose-tinted?
I'm going to find it really hard because I haven't watched it back multiple times to be able to make a solid comment on it. Because I'm going to try and... If it was the other way round... the other way round... This is also completely different from what I was saying to you before, but if it was the other way around, we would love it. Like it and also if we see, I don't know, Raul Jimenez in that position and then is fouled by... You want that to be a red card, and I think we would argue it that way. So I can see from a Villa perspective why that is a red card, but also I think Ollie Watkins is being clever. I think he is putting himself in that position. Then again, that's the quality of Ollie Watkins. He knows exactly what to do in that position. That's why he is how successful he is. So
yeah, I think for me, like, I've watched it back a couple of times. There is an arm, which is the only real offence from Anderson, but I do just think like that is a shoulder barge for me. I don't think it is a clear foul, and ultimately it's a game-defining decision because 2-1 down to a team like Aston Villa with 10 men. I mean, the third goal was just a matter of time, really. It was an Issa Diop red card, and by this point, the game is just a futile exercise, really, isn't it?
Yeah, completely. I mean, we seemed to play pretty well once we were down to 10 men, but that's because you play with freedom. There's not really much else which can go wrong. You're 3-1 down. What else are you going to do? You've got all that freedom, and Villa's stepped off the ball, so you can do that. Obviously, bringing on Wilson, he can shine in that sort of situation, but he's only got 10 minutes to do that. So it just felt like a little bit of a futile last 25 minutes or so, which when we were 2-1 down, I was still believing we could go and get some points out of this.
Yeah.
And you're right, like the red card is game defining, and it's just really frustrating because Anderson is so key for us, and he has been all season. You say he's now going to be out for a game as well because it's not violent conduct. So it is just frustrating. Also, what else is he meant to do in that situation? Is he just going to lay off Ollie Watkins and let him through on goal? No. So
that's what it is for me. I think if Anderson had tripped him or caught his leg, and I look back at the replays, kind of looks like Ollie Watkins tries to put his leg in between Anderson's a little bit. I'm not convinced it's a red card, and I think for such a big decision like that, I personally think if you're a referee, I think you have to be 100% sure, and I don't think there's any way that the referee can be definitive that, oh no, that's a definite foul, it's not just a bit of physicality. I think...
Can we appeal for that? Can we appeal now? Is it worth it?
I think we can. I don't think there's anything to lose from appealing, and if it didn't come off, but I'd be amazed. I'd personally be amazed if they unless there's something super slow-mo that proves otherwise, that 100% it was like definitely not a red. I can't see it personally. But yeah, we're in a bit of position now. You know, we're facing Everton, no Sasa Lukic, no Joachim Anderson. I won't say the season's unravelling. Look. I think in the
so fast.
Yeah, I think in the broader picture of it, no one expected a win today. I think it's just frustrating that there were big chances for Fulham to win. We went in front, we missed a penalty, and this will go down as, you know, similar to City, similar to United, as what and West Ham as what could have been.
I mean, yeah, you can obviously say that you would expect not to get a win, but actually going into this game, the performance we pulled off at City, the performance at Forest as well, I thought we could have very well got a good draw. Like I'm quite disappointed, to be honest, by it. I had a good feeling going into the game. It feels like slightly wasted, but again, it's not the most annoying result of the season. I think West Ham was much more annoying. I think United was much more annoying. So yeah, I can let this one go.
We'll let this one go. Thank you very much for watching today. Thank you very much, Yaz.
Thank you.
Thank you to Craft Beer Co. for hosting us as ever. Let us know what you thought of the game in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please hit subscribe. Have a great weekend. Come on, you whites.